The episode opens with images from previous episodes flooding back. Jack had left Coal Valley to pursue his dream, a noble job of maintaining safety and apprehending criminals. Elizabeth, though missing him terribly, tried to appear strong, telling herself that excessive missing was selfish. The episode officially begins with Jack, on his way to his new post, encountering another group of Royal Canadian Mounted Police. They inform him they are tracking the Tolliver Gang, a notorious group of criminals specializing in robbing banks and trains. Jack is familiar with the gang but has never crossed paths with them. He learns that Tolliver might have been injured in the most recent robbery and could be hiding somewhere, or possibly even dead. Jack also reveals he is the son of Thomas Thornton, a veteran Mountie whom one of the other officers knew. Meanwhile, in Coal Valley, life goes on. Julie Thatcher, Elizabeth's sister, is caring for Nathaniel Miller, the mysterious man she found injured in the woods. Julie, with her innocence and compassion, is determined to help him freshen up his appearance, believing a new start and a new look will bring new possibilities. Nathaniel, though seemingly surprised, agrees to let Julie shave his beard and cut his hair, hoping to become a true gentleman in her eyes. He promises to repay Julie's kindness by changing his life, becoming the man he was meant to be, with her encouragement. Julie completely trusts Nathaniel. In another development, the Tolliver Gang, having failed to meet Nathaniel, Nate, at the rendezvous point, begins to grow suspicious and anxious. One of the gang members angrily states that if he's cheated out of his share, someone will die. Back in Elizabeth's classroom, she is teaching her students about the concept of inertia through an interesting experiment with 2 eggs, one raw and one hard-boiled. The children are fascinated, with Emily even suggesting its magic. Elizabeth smiles, saying that sometimes science is so wonderful it feels like magic. When one student remarks that Rip, Jack's dog, seems to be an object at rest, another suggests that Rip is probably just missing Jack. Elizabeth looks momentarily sad, agreeing that we all miss people who go away. Later, Elizabeth receives a letter from Jack. He writes about his journey, meeting fellow Mounties who are hunting a dangerous group of bank robbers, and his hope to join their search soon. He also asks about Coal Valley and Rip. Abigail Stanton goes to Henry Gowen's office to deliver his share of the cafe's profits as per their agreement. She wishes to place the money on Gowen's desk herself and leave some muffins with a note of gratitude. While waiting for Gowen, she surreptitiously takes a file from his office. When one of Gowen's men questions why she was in there for so long, Abigail quickly departs. Julie continues to care for Nathaniel. Just then, Constable O'Reilly, another Mountie stationed in Coal Valley, visits Nathaniel to check on him. Nathaniel expresses gratitude for the concern but states he will be on his way as soon as he is strong enough to ride. He recounts his story of being shot in a hunting accident, where his friend accidentally grazed him while aiming for a large buck. He claims he blacked out and woke up to find Julie there like an angel. He also mentions his hometown is Falls Creek, a lumber town about 20 miles away. Elizabeth confides in Abigail about Jack, admitting that while she knows his departure to pursue his dream was the right thing, she still feels an emptiness. Abigail expresses her concern about Nathaniel and Julie's excessive closeness to a man whose background she knows nothing about. Gowen, noticing Abigail's worry, mentions he asked Constable O'Reilly to visit Nathaniel to send a clear message that they intend to keep the town safe. Constable O'Reilly later goes to Ned Yost at the post office to send a telegram, stating they might have a big problem on their hands. Gowen visits Abigail at the cafe, thanking her for the morning muffins. He insinuates, asking if Abigail had other intentions, perhaps hoping to see him. Abigail bluntly states that if he is trying to flirt with her, it is neither welcomed nor appreciated. Gowen then changes his tone, suggesting they are business partners and could become friends, but Abigail doubts it, though she agrees they can remain civil. As soon as Abigail leaves, Gowen asks his clerk how long Abigail was alone in his office that morning. He accuses Abigail of stealing the file he knows she is hiding under her red tablecloth. Abigail doesn't deny it, stating it's evidence that Gowen murdered her husband and son, along with half the men in town. Gowan retorts that the papers prove nothing and turns the blame on Abigail's late husband, Noah, who was his right-hand man and in charge of mine operations. Meanwhile, Jack, on his journey, re-encounters the group of Mounties. They inform him that Tolliver's horse was found not far away, near a mining town called Coal Valley. The horse had blood on it, indicating Tolliver was wounded. Jack immediately turns his horse around and heads back to Coal Valley. Nathaniel, after Julie shows him the way, goes to the cabin where she found him, under the pretext of retrieving his knapsack containing a picture of his mother. Julie innocently believes him and lends him her horse and a map. She even gives him a kiss before he leaves, saying she will wait for him. Elizabeth is at home when Julie rushes in, breathlessly announcing she is in love with Nathaniel. Elizabeth is stunned, reminding Julie she has only known the man for a few days and he was found in the woods. Julie accuses Elizabeth of not wanting her to be happy because Nathaniel isn't rich and educated. Elizabeth explains that it's about a man's character and integrity, recounting how she was deceived by Billy Hamilton's affection and fortune. Julie finally confesses that Nathaniel is involved with his brother's gang and had no other choice, having been orphaned young and raised by his brother. She believes Nathaniel wants to become a better man and share his life with her. Elizabeth is horrified, realizing Julie might have put the entire town in danger, and decides to inform Constable O'Reilly and take Julie to see Abigail. At the saloon, the Tolliver gang, without Nathaniel, encounters Mayor Silas Ramsey. They inquire about a friend who might have passed through. Mayor Ramsey, unaware, inadvertently reveals that a man injured in a hunting accident is being cared for by the ladies at Abigail's cafe. The gang immediately realizes it's Nathaniel and heads to the cafe. Upon arriving at the cafe, they confront Elizabeth, Julie, and Abigail. Julie, still believing in Nathaniel, tries to explain that he no longer wants a life of crime and was shot. However, one of the gang members reveals Nathaniel has no brother, leaving Julie devastated as she realizes she's been deceived. The robbers tie up Elizabeth and Abigail and force Julie to go with them to find Nathaniel and the gold he's hidden. Gowan, in the meantime, has gone to Abigail's former house and retrieved the file. Constable O'Reilly, while pursuing Nathaniel, is ambushed by him, tied to his horse, and the horse is spooked. Nathaniel and his gang find the hidden gold. Elizabeth tries to convince Julie that this is Nathaniel's true nature and it's time for her to grow up and see the world realistically. Julie is deeply remorseful for endangering everyone. Jack Thornton arrives back in Coal Valley in time. Abigail informs him that Elizabeth and Julie have been taken. Nathaniel, now clearly revealed as Nate Tolliver, the gang leader, confronts Jack. He holds Elizabeth hostage. Jack, though outnumbered, uses his wits, pretending many Mounties surround them, demanding the robbers release the hostages and drop their weapons. His plan seems to work as some gang members hesitate and lower their guns. However, when one robber realizes it's a trick involving red mounted coats being dragged by horses, the situation becomes tense. In the chaos, Elizabeth shouts to warn Jack that Nathaniel has a knife, and Jack subdues Nathaniel after a struggle, sustaining a minor injury himself. After the Tolliver gang is apprehended, Julie is extremely regretful and thanks Elizabeth for looking after her. Jack, before escorting the criminals away and proceeding to his new post, has a private conversation with Elizabeth. He admits that when he thought she was in danger, his only thought was to return and protect her. He doesn't know what the future holds but doesn't want to regret not expressing his feelings, that he cares for her safety. Elizabeth reciprocates these sentiments, and they part with a promise to see each other soon. The episode concludes with Elizabeth and Julie sitting together. Julie reminisces about her childhood fears of monsters under the bed, and how Elizabeth always protected her. Elizabeth promises to continue doing so. In her journal, Elizabeth writes that the past few days felt like a year, having experienced extreme fear but also profound safety in Jack's arms when he came to her rescue. She realizes that sometimes we need heroes in our lives, and sometimes, for the people we love, we must become heroes ourselves.